How's it going, everybody? Sorry, I was daydreaming. Didn't even know that I had hit that button. Whoop, whoop. All right. So I'm with you now. Let's go. Herodias. Chance finally came on Herod's birthday. He gave a party for his high government officials, army officers, and leading citizens of Galilee. Then his daughter named, am I on the right? Is this what we jumped into? 6 2, Mark 5:20. No, it's 5:21. Thank you. Hello, folks. We got this. I'm like, how are we already at King Herod and John the Baptist, I think, losing his head? Right. Jesus heals in response to faith. Here we go. Let's go. Jesus got into the boat again and went back to the other side of the lake where the large crowd gathered around him on the shore. Then a leader of the local synagogue, whose name was Jairus, arrived. When he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet, pleading fervently with him. My little daughter is dying, he said. Please come, lay your hands on her, heal her so she can live. People can't do that today. You can't put your hands on somebody and save them. Those are all shysters. Okay. Demons can heal. Be careful. But you get the idea. Jesus went with him, and all the people followed, crowding around him. A woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. She had suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years, she had spent everything she had to pay them, but she had gotten no better. In fact, she'd only gotten worse. She had heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. That's with her faith. That's all she felt like she needed to do, right? For she thought to herself, if I can just touch his robe, well, they kind of spell it out for us here in the New Living, don't they? If I can just touch his robe, I will be healed. Immediately, the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body that she had been healed of her terrible condition. Jesus realized at once the healing power had gone out from him, so he turned around in the crowd and asked, who touched my robe? His disciples said to him, look at this crowd pressing around you. How can you ask who touched me? It's so weird to get this in the New Living because that is not what it's the story, but it's just written so differently in the poetic King's English. And when she had heard Jesus came, when she had heard of Jesus, she came in and pressed behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes? And the disciple said unto him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? Not much different, is it? Oh no, I just wanted to read it in the King James. All right, continuing on. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, and a measure of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So now you're getting into famine. Now you're going to get into death due to the war and the famine, which were the two previous horses. And when it were seals. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and the grave followed him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and hunger, and death, and with the beast of the earth. And I think when you get into the beast of the earth, you're getting into the great tribulation, because then the next verse you get into the testimony of those from the great tribulation. And we know the fifth seal I saw under the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and the testimony which they held, and they cry with a loud voice. This is symbolic. When you die, you're asleep. And that's proven throughout the word of God, especially in Daniel 12, but in other places too. So this is the souls. It's sort of symbolic. And they cry with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.